Welcome back to Python class, and today we are going to start the Django framework. If you know, the Django framework is dealt separately as a course. It is not usually covered under a Python basic, core, advanced, intermediate, all the topic. But I thought I can include that Django. I can give you the framework of Django. It itself is a framework. How you can start learning Django. Useful projects we are going to do during our course time. Usually Django is used for, it's a web technology. It's a web technology. Web technology means database servers are connected, web servers are connected, scripting language is there, its mother tongue of the web pages are HTML, designing is CSS, client side if you need attractive interaction you need JavaScript. So not a single technology is involved with web development. If you take that comparison, one single server is not available for database. You can use Oracle, you can use MariaDB, you can go for PostgreSQL, you can go for MySQL. Any server you can use, not one choice. Server side scripting is there, something called as client side scripting is there. Server side scripting, for example, ASP.NET, Microsoft technology, or the open source popular PHP technology, or JavaScript itself, they have developed something called as what is Node.js. Some script library has been created that can be executed in the server. So when we talk about web development, it is not a single technology that you have to learn to develop a website. If you want to develop a very basic website, HTML, CSS is enough. HTML is very simple language. Even grade 6 student can learn that. If you go what is HTML, what are the thing, how to create web pages means, it is called as a static web page. Static means it will not interact with you. Just it will display the information. But that is not the world what we are facing today. It is dynamic. Web pages has to interact. When I click something, it has to interact. Except that hyperlink in the static page, one page to another page you can jump. That is the only interaction possible. Say for example, you want to submit a form. You cannot do in a static page. It requires, if you take one simple form, all the technologies are required because the page is becoming dynamic. How? In your computer you are sitting and you are starting a browser. It is called as already client software for internet. For World Wide Web, multiple technologies are together called as internet. I am talking about browser is used to browse the World Wide Web, the graphical part of the internet. Somebody is asking to fill up a online form. What is your name, address, phone number, whether you're interested this one, that one, what is your hobby. After that, finally submit. The data is submitted in your computer because you are connected with the internet. It is traveling through the data communication cables and it is reaching somewhere else. This technology, how it is possible in olden days when the internet was invented, these things were not available. So what was available? Static pages. Now dynamic means what will happen? First thing, your data is transmitted to a particular server. The computer which is giving you the service is called as the server in internet, where a program is sitting there called as server side script. It will receive the data, appropriately it will order the data, programming, process the data, and it will store in the database. The immediate interface between your browser and server is something called as web server software is sitting. Stack. This is called as technology stack. One stack is there. When you ask www.google.com means you are actually communicating with a web server in another computer. It is nothing but a software. In the world today, if you ask me to give an example for web server software, Apache server web server is a very popular software, open source, free to download. In the world, it is very secure web server. Worldwide, people are using that. Widely, it is used. That is one example. I told you when you click the submit button, the data is sent, and the program which is sitting on that computer is usually we call it as a script. It is processing and the data is saved in a database. Say for example, you are collecting the data of your customer. After saving the data, it will reply you. Thanks for submitting your details. So this is something called as two-way communication. You are sending some data, you are getting some data from the server. In static pages, you cannot send any data to server. No data you can send. This type of data, except hyperlinks. Hyperlink means click, 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 click means one link to another link, one link to another link. Data can you are uploading. How is it possible? Because of dynamic pages. This is called a server-side script. Why you need a web server? Client software can communicate. That is the software that is maintaining all the information you need. When you ask some information, that is the web server, Apache web server is sending you the information from one particular computer. Different websites are there, have different IDs are there, different Apache softwares are running. We need database, why? We understand. We need server-side script, we understand. We need a web page web page host software called as web server like Apache. We need, why? We understand. Why we need HTML? Whatever the information displayed on your screen is ultimately a product of a page is in HTML format. To make beautification, cascading style sheet is used. CSS. Nowadays, SAS CSS is also there. SCSS. Even today, advanced CSS is also there. It is called as SAS CSS. Software as a service. SAS. Software as a service. Now, another thing. You understand why we need HTML, right? The server-side script processes your input and it designs a website automatically. That HTML document is the one which is sent to your browser. Say for example, you are asking, display me all the customers who are from Bangalore. Means you will click customer Bangalore submit. Means it will send, all the data will be sent. Who is sending? We know server is sending. Who is responsible for that one? Some script program is there. Where is the data? It is residing in the database. What is the job of script? Pull the data from database, format it into as a HTML page. It will emit as a HTML document. That document is shown to you as if it is a HTML document. But there it is not a HTML document. There is no such document available in the server. As soon as you asked, dynamically it is processed and it is sent. Same another person in sitting in the internet, he will be asked, show me all the customers from Chennai. Is it there is any HTML document containing all the list of HTML Chennai customers? There is no such page. Suddenly, two customers added. If you store a page with all the list of customers in a HTML document, that two customers will not be available. So we are saying that dynamically processing. Dynamically processing. When you need, the document is created. When you need, accordingly the document is created. Okay. Now all I explained you briefly. It is each and everything is something you have to learn as a separate subject matter. Number last point that I want to make is why you need client-side scripting. JavaScript is very powerful. Still, the most popular language in the world is JavaScript. Not Java, JavaScript. Scripting language. What is this JavaScript is doing in the client side? Say, for example, you are bringing your mouse to near to a link. Suddenly, it is changing the color. Suddenly, it is changing the color. Suddenly, it is putting a underline. Yes, something it is changing, it is interacting with you as if it is interacting with you. How it is happening? We have written with the help of CSS or JavaScript, where as soon as you bring the mouse hover, something mouse hovering is happening. It is called as an event. That event will trigger the code that is running in your computer. You are not seeing. Your browser is running some scripts. Because of that one, you are seeing the modifications. This is called as a client-side scripting. The script code that will run by the browser, client-side scripting. The script code that is not run here, somewhere else it is run and you are getting the result, that is server-side script. Server-side script. Now, coming to our subject matter, Django, lot of things. How many technologies are there? Lot of technologies are there. Usually, what we are doing, the world, everyone has to learn all this technology to develop a website. It's not required. Obviously, every technology needs to be, we need experts. They have to maintain. Otherwise, our servers will not run. We need database experts. We need Apache web server expert. We need server side scripting expert, client side scripting expert. Every expert we need. What happens if you want in a very short time? It requires a lot of time. Testing requires, you will develop little bit. After that, you will see the design whether it is okay. Little bit I will modify. Time consuming process, web page development. Now what happens? Django type of frameworks. If you want the old style frameworks are there, content management systems, CMS, Drupal, Joomla. Just you search in internet. What is the name? Drupal, Joomla. Still it is popular. They are written in mostly PHP language. They have been written in PHP language. Just you install that script in your server. You don't need to learn anything. Automatically create a document like Microsoft Word. You can create a document. What you see is what you get. Whatever you design, it will become HTML and it will reside in your, including server-side scripting, client-side scripting, everything you can do. But the modern approach is like Django. It is not the style of framework content management system is not like Joomla or Drupal. Lot of content management systems are there, CMSs are there in the world. Thousands and millions of websites is still running in Drupal and Joomla. Nobody wrote the code from scratch, from bottom ABCD up to the end. They nobody developed nowadays. I did one argument. Everything we need an expert. Gautami Somashekar, are you able to follow the explanation? Yes. Somashekar, why I'm not getting voice? What is wrong? Otherwise, here they switched off. Yeah, that is here they are switched off. Okay, I asked for every technology we need expert. Why? Now what we are doing, the necessary essential website design will be done help of a Django type of framework. That file will be given to a hosting service. Host company who is running servers, who will be having experts in database, expert in web server, expert in scripting languages troubleshooting. All people are there in the server. Just you will give it to him. He will take care of all the thing. You can sit in your home at the comfort of your home and you can modify the website. Who will help us? Django framework will help us. You understand how we are making our life easier? If I say you can develop websites and web application, what is the difference between desktop application and web application? A application which is standalone. running in the desktop of your computer. Say, for example, from start button, you are installing and running the software, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all are desktop applications. If your application is not running from your computer, somewhere else you have saved that program through internet you are running, such a application is called as web application. For example, if you take the banking management system, the whole banking management system is a software which is not a desktop application. They are using by Chrome or Internet Explorer. It is a web application because the whole world has to be connected. It is not convenient to go with the desktop application. Can we create internet like web application? It will be connecting with the server. It will be collecting the data. Yes, it is possible. Yes, we can do. But it is unnecessarily we have the maintenance headache. What is the maintenance headache? If the software is gone wrong, we have to fix the problem. If software is problem, you have to install and uninstall. Installation itself is required. Uninstall. If you are not a technical person, you don't know how to install and how to uninstall. These headaches are not required in a web application. Just go to browser, type your address, application will be in front of the screen. Many people don't know that what is the difference between website and a web application. Many of them they are happily using web application. They are sitting that they are thinking that we are browsing a website. Actually, they are not browsing a website. It is a web application. Lot of coding has been written. It is not merely HTML and CSS files. HTML can give you static text files, just decorating some font size, name, etc. That is formatting language. Text formatting language for internet. That is the mother tongue of browsers. What is the mother tongue language of browsers? Means mother tongue browser can understand only HTML. They don't understand anything. So the server it will do all the activities and it will send the code. Now engines are there in our browsers, lot of engines to interpret HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Very powerful open source engines are available nowadays. That's why in millisecond, lot of complicated codes are executed here. For your information, this type of thing was first introduced by the idea came from the we think that they are very expensive company, Apple company. They are very expensive. Everyone is cannot buy the afford the technology. They are selling costly products because they are doing a lot of research in their organization. Who this idea? First in Apple company engineers think that everything we are putting the burden on the server. This client computer is also powerful processor. When the user is browsing, what is this the processor is doing? Sleeping? No, we don't need to sleep. Give the some little bit work here. Instead of that blinking, when you bring the mouse, changing the color, underlining, all the responsibility of burdens or scripting burden is given to processor in the local computer. So this gave birth to the idea of client side scripting. Up to that, only server side scripting was there. That too, developing a script for a server side was such a difficult task. Why? Whatever you write the script is not a single make of computer or a single operating system. User can connect with any computer you cannot control. He may be controlling connecting with a Windows computer, or maybe Unix, or maybe Linux, or maybe Mac OS, or maybe IBM's something, or maybe Sun Solaris system. Anything possible. He has to design a website which is suitable for everyone, for all the customer. It will run for someone, it will not run for someone. Means what will happen? Your business is not reaching to everyone. Such a headache, and it was a difficult task when it was once upon a time. But all those technological barriers has been broken. To some extent, things are easier now. To some extent, relatively it is easy. Now we will move to Django. I hope Gautami and Somashekar has already kept the PDF open in your system. Whenever I'm explaining anything, you can follow the instruction. I'm going to start the content about Django. Django is having multiple chapters. The PDF is containing first is introduction about Django, how to initialize and set up Django in your computer. After that, whatever the chapter available, almost all chapters, 15 chapters, only two tab chapters are introduction and how to install Django. Out of 15, 13 chapters deals with various concepts of developing our website. How to create a simple website, how to create a form, how to submit the data so that we can store in a database. Now the question is coming, fundamental question. Sir, we don't have any database in our computer. We don't have any web server. Maybe Python is running, Python can be treated as a scripting language. How it is going to be how can I run and test all this code? Immediately I have to test, right? Django is having a small, lightweight, built-in server. It will take care of. As soon as you want to put it in somewhere else, you have to little bit modify the code so that it can be suitable to a external server. Now, as of now, as a student, where you will be learning, when you install Django, whatever the infrastructure you need, server infrastructure you need, lightweight things are automatically provided by Django. Automatically it is provided by Django. But it requires Python. It requires Python. Python it is not built into the Django. It will you have to tell that Python is I have installed in a particular folder. Go and give the code. Python will be interpreting your code and it will be so we have to give instruction to whom? To Django. Okay. Now first we will take some introduction. What I'm believing is Django is something I'm going to deliver you to this batch. Uh, Whatever the carrier you want to mold in Python using Python like data science and all for your future purpose. Also, I'm counting the Django as a very important thing. If you want to be a web application web app developer and a number two website designer, you can go with this one. Also, I can tell you lot of software infrastructure available when you design a Django app, web app, when you design a website, if you know little bit knowledge of developing mobile app, all the things can be translated to a web mobile app also. You don't need to repeat from the beginning. Everything you designed, web app designed, website designed. You think that can I make it as a Android app? I want to make it as a iOS app. Yes, possible. But you need little bit extension of your knowledge. How the mobile platforms are working. So you have to understand the interrelationships. How we can connect one technology with another technology. Now, what the people are doing, they are not. When you go to their website and when you install their app, it is more matching. Why? The common code base. What is common code base? For running their website, web app, for running their mobile app, they are not investing a separate coding. It's common code used for different platforms. Only they are wrapping with mobile requirements. If I wrap with a mobile requirement, it will become a mobile app. Now I am wrapping with a desktop. It is running in a desktop. That is the difference. Some people, what they will do, like Igno and all, what I have seen, they are using some app about course material delivery, assignment submission, whether they received or not something, replying for you. All these things are happening. They have just converted the website, static website or dynamic website, into app. They didn't do anything. It is becoming a app now. Okay. I hope I have given a reasonable introduction to web technologies and whatever the terms I have used, if you need elaborate explanation, lot of materials available. Whatever the terms I have used, you can Google it out. Uh, it is a project based approach to learning web development with Django Web Framework. How this PDF has been designed? It is project based approach. That means instead of in Django, this facility available. In Django, these are all the data type. For example, if it is a language, how will teach? Data types are available. Control structures are available. This one, that one. No. They will take a project and they will solve. Because we know Python already, when they are solving, we have to understand that to do this one, I have to do like this. To do this one, I have to do this one in Django. That is something called as project-based approach. 13 projects you are going to solve. As much as possible, I will cover. Rest you are going to take by your own. Uh, in the beginning, you are going to start developing a very simplest application. Gradually, the complexity will increase. What will increase? Complexity, because the work you want to be get done is complex. Obviously the project will become a bit complex. From the simple hello world, pages app, message board, blog, bloggers, you can how blogger apps are created. All these things are you are going to see. Even user accounts, username, password, it will be maintained in a database. How you are allowing and permitting, how you are encrypting and decrypting the word that has been entered. All these things you are going to see. Also a news group, newspaper app, how the newspaper apps are. As soon as multiple journalists are there, they are having their own username account. They will enter their username password. Immediately they will post the news. They will not be waiting for anyone. And first that will go to moderator like editor. Editor, once he will read some modification he will make, if it is anything offensive, immediately he will publish the news. That's why even news that 3 minutes ago, but whenever it is coming, live news we are getting. Yeah. And email integration, authorization, permissions, and much more thing you are going to learn. And when you complete this book of not more than 300, you should be very comfortable with Django. And a next book is available by the same continuation. It is extremely even advanced concepts of Django. It doesn't mean that you cannot understand. If you have understood this, easily you can understand. Directly you cannot understand. Professional development of for professional use. This is beginner's use. Professional use. Directly you gone to job and if somebody is asking you to develop a web application, refer that book. More materials you can get. How to satisfy your customer. Uh, and also Django projects you can create right from the scratch. Scratch means from zero, ground zero we are creating. And don't forget, Django is free. It is open source. Open source means anyone can modify. The source code itself is open and written in the Python programming language. Why we are connecting with Python? Because it has been written in Python language. In 2005, it was first released. Actually, some company was using for their personal. Every project is like that. Some company, some individuals, they will start doing some work. After that, they will think, why don't I make it open for the whole world? Let everyone can come and develop it bigger. Like this, every software. Linus Torvald, a student in a Finnish university, he developed a kernel, hot of the operating system. It was his project in his degree. After that, he thought, why should I keep my kernel with me? I will put it in internet. Everyone has to develop and let them make it bigger. Now also Linus Torvalds is the head of the project. It is a open source. Linus Torvalds is the kernel project is the one which is called as Linux operating system now. It's very Ubuntu, Red Hat Linux, CentOS, several names they are talking about. But the heart is developed by whom? Simply a project somebody developed and they put it in internet and now it is a big revolution. Yeah. Another thing, if you ask me, Django has been continuously developed and today powerful in many largest websites in the world, including Instagram is using, Pinterest is using, Bitbucket is using, Disqus is using. Lot of websites are there. It is empowered by Django framework. Many simple website, individual small business websites are all by Django because it is free and open source. I don't need to buy any software for special purpose. It's very flexible. That's why it is popular. It is flexible, popular choice for early stage startups and side projects. Whenever a business wants to start developing a project, they don't want to have a very huge, robust website. They need some website. They have some 1 lakh customers, they want to serve the service. They want to go with Django. And also many side projects are developing Django services. Okay, why we need to use, why Django? It's a collection of tool. All the details are hidden. Whatever the repetition is happening in the development of web, all are hidden from you. By click, you can bring that functionality to your website. Take your any website, there will be a home page, there will be a copyright page, there will be some contact page, search page, some things are there. Every website needs. All our Django is having ready-madely. By means of click, you can include that. Okay. Most websites need the same basic functional ability to connect to a database. Every database, every website has to connect with a database. URL routes, addresses, maintenance, display contents on a page, say, handle security, properly. Security has to be handled. These are all the internal things that we are not aware of. Automatic for every website, all are automated. All are automated in Django. These are all some of the reasons to say why we need Django. Why we need Django. Instead of creating everything from the beginning, programmers over the year have created web frameworks in all major programming languages. Almost, this is not only in Python. I told you in JavaScript it is available, in PHP it is available. Web frameworks are available to create websites. Python, Rails in Ruby, Laravel, PHP, among many other languages. Even in JavaScript, Node.js is there for server-side scripting. It itself is written in a JavaScript. It itself is not in a separate language. Java inherited Python's batteries included. Usually Python is called as batteries included. Fondly, have you heard this word? I didn't use you before. If you have searched something about Python, it is popularly called as batteries included. What is batteries included? Please tell me in your learning experience of Python. Python is popularly called as batteries included language. You can tell me, Manoj. Hmm? Yeah, operation. What kind of operations? What do you mean by that? We refer to the ready-made stuff, modules, batteries. To run our engine, we don't need to every time recharge the with the code. Recharging thing is coding. We don't need. Lot of batteries are same cycle, same philosophy can apply to Django. Django itself is a framework. It itself is like Python, batteries included. Why? User authentication you want to do, ready-made stuff available. You want to do testing, ready-made stuff available. You want to do database models, forms, URL routes and templates, ready-madely available. Admin interface, the overall website is having a administrative control. Who has to be allowed? When you go through that, what type of page you want to publish, what page you want to delete, that is called as admin interface. Every website requires. That is also ready-madely available. Upgradation of security and performance, support for multiple database backends. Usually that is called as front end and back end. Usually the Chromes are front end, database, web servers and all back end. All the collection is called as back end. Okay. This type of approach web developers to focus on what makes a web application unique rather than inventing a wheel every time. You need just go with that. How to do, why to do this one, why not this technology? Don't be confused. Again, don't rewrite the code. Reuse the code. Instead of rewriting the same code, reuse the code. That is the benefit of frameworks. Some web frameworks like Flask adopt a micro framework approach of providing only the bare minimum required for a simple web page. Flask is far more lightweight than Django and allows of maximum flexibility. However, this comes at a cost to the developer. To build even a basic website requires adding a dozen or more third-party packages, which may or may not be up to date, and the resulting Flask project structure often varies widely, making it more difficult to move between projects and maintain best practices within the community. They are comparing with a another popular framework, Flask. Flask is also a framework. See, flask.paletteprojects.com. It is available. Got it now? This is this project when you compare with Django, Flask is lightweight. Lightweight means it is not big, so coding. They have coded in a very compact way. But the headache is you cannot develop very sophisticated web pages. If you want to, you have to add some additional stuff. Additional stuff. That stuff is free. It might not be up to date with the Flask latest version. It will clash. Several problems are there. But Django is not having that problem. Why? Django remains under active development. What do you mean by active development? The volunteers who are contributing for the code development, every day they are doing some contribution. Somebody in the world, someone is saying that there is one bug, there is a security problem. Please introduce a new facility. They will start working for that. Like that, it is evolving. With a regular release schedule of monthly security bug fixes and major releases every 8 months, every 8 months there is a new version of Django available. They have fixed. Every month there will be like Android mobile, like iOS. Every month you have security patch. Whatever the bug they find out, errors they find out immediately. Every month they will fix. Again, it is a free open source software. Millions of programs have already used Django to build their websites. Millions, not hundreds and thousands. Millions used. All the same code mistakes when a large community of brilliant developers have already solved these problems for us. For example, you are developing a Django based website. You struck with some idea. I don't know why I'm getting this error. Sometimes even in the simple three-line program also we get a struck. Yes or no? It will happen in any sub project because computer we are not expert in anything. Every time we have to learn something. But a big community available who are expert in Django throughout the world, just go to your appropriate platform, the community websites, you put a question, immediately will get answer. You don't need any customer care center to call somebody, get the paid service from someone. Got it? How we are getting support. Lot of reasons I'm mentioning why we need Django. Why Django? Reasons I'm talking about. And for example, Django community also, as I said, people are having wish list. Why don't you add this one? If you make like this one, In that framework, that one good feature is there, and whatever the good features are there, all you put it, suggest. So the community is actively developing and improving the Django framework. It is written in a wonderfully readable yet the still powerful Python programming language. In short, you are building a website from scratch. Django is a fantastic choice. According to the author, what he says, all this reason kept apart, the best reason to choose Django is written in a Python programming language because Python is popular for readable program. When you read the program, it will be easy for you to understand. If you compare C++ or Java C language, it is a very powerful languages. They have done their contribution. Lot of things has happened because of those languages. Still people are love and use. Still in the top list, C++, Java is living even today. Again, not readable program comparing with Python. Not readable program. You have to deeply comprehend the program. Okay. Uh, I don't want to go to that one. You can go through, just you can read it. I can take another couple of minutes because we started late. Yeah. What are the requirements to use Django? Django 4 and Python 3.10. Django for beginners has been written in a Django 4 and a Python 3. Already, what is our version? 3.10. What is our version that we have installed? 3.10, 103 I'm using in my system, the latest one. I didn't update that one. Anyway, I can go and I can ask Spider also. Uh, just I will disconnect 1 second, okay? Somashekar, Gautami,
Yes, sir.
Gautami Somashekar, I'm not able to hear you. Are you able to follow any? Everything is okay, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, fine. Somashekar, what about you? Uh, Somashekar should not do like my student. Okay, he's saying yes. Okay, fine. Online class is very dangerous class, you know. Student, they will not be listening. I think this is the command. How to run a command here? Okay, here in the top 3.912. The Spider is not using the latest one. I have another version which is directly installed. I can use directly from the command prompt. That is the 3.10. Now, what I'm saying is this book is based on the latest Python, and we will go to online student also can go to type Django in your browser, Django download, just to see what is the version available online. Django, later the last version to support Python is Django 11. Point, yeah, 4.1.3. Now, what is this book has been written? Django 4. Django 4 is just one subversion has been released. Subversion has been released. And for your information, if you want to use only 4, it is possible to use. That slight differences, major difference is coming when the major number is changing. 4 to 5, 5 to 6. All the code example will work with these versions, whatever the example that they are demonstrating. The newer version of both Django and Python available. In general, you should always try to be on the latest version of Django and Python, as both are mature technologies. Any issues that arise in the future as a result will be related. minor. We don't need to worry about that one. Already this is 4 and 3.10. Almost they are latest. That 4.1 is making little bit difference. It is very minor. We will find out. You don't need previous Python or web development experience to complete this text. Fine. You don't need further knowledge. I'm going to, what I'm planning is I'm going to bring you script files. Only command files. I will take the command files, I will explain you, I will complete. Now, first chapter, I don't want to go like that. Uh, Intentionally written so that even a total beginner can follow along with and magic of writing own web application from scratch. Anyone can understand. That's why I choose to go with this content. If you are serious about a career in web development, yes, you will eventually need to invest time to properly learn Python and CSS. You are very serious about Python, already you know Python. Learning HTML, CSS requires some 5 hours. How much hours? 5 hours. That is sufficient for you. You can learn. If you have a appropriate platform, that is, after spending that 5 hours, you will be comfortable with HTML and CSS, whatever may be the future requirements, advanced things, side by side, be in your job site, develop, learn additional thing. Everyone is doing that. Do you know everything about Python so far? We don't know. Even I don't know. Okay, that is a fact. So whatever the need arises, I will be learning. I will not refuse to learn. A list of recommended resources of the further studies included in the conclusion. Okay, further available. Okay, this one also you have to read. And after that, there are many code examples in this. How they have written? It will be written in the comment and the coding. Executable code before that comments like this. In blue color means they are giving some, yeah. 50 also I told you. Now, before going to start learning anything, first we have to put the things in order. We have to set up our home so that we can start learning and developing the Django. Uh, this material covers both Mac OS and Windows. Mac OS and Windows. Only you have to focus the Windows part. Ignore the Mac OS part. Even you don't read, you will be confused. Because whether it is the command is like that, like this, no, don't compare anything. Just focus only for Windows. Okay? We are not anyway, you are not going to use Mac OS and all. It's not required for you. You are already experienced in Windows means you are going to develop in Windows only. Because Mac OS is you first you have to learn what is a Mac OS command line commands. You know command line interface. You have to learn that. We start with the overview of the command line, a powerful text-only interface that developers use extensively to install and configure Django projects. I told you, command line we are going to use. We are not going to use interfaces like GUI interface. Then we will install the latest version of Python, learn how to create dedicated virtual environment, install Django as a final step. We will explore using Git for version control and working with a text editor. By the end of this chapter, you will have created your first Django project. Uh, by the end of this chapter, from scratch, more importantly, able to create and modify new Django projects in this just key strokes. Okay. Now, command line. I don't need to explain you. Command line is PowerShell command line and all. It is a PowerShell looks like this. Yes. PS, if you go to the users WSV, something username will be displayed. For me, LR mat will be displayed there. Yes or no? This is PowerShell prompt. Yes or no? Just let me project that for others' benefit. PowerShell. I want to start as a run as a administrator. Uh, Students for in online, I'm talking about PowerShell window. So I'm projecting that one. Immediately you can refer because most of the beginning work we are going to do only in the PowerShell. So you should be comfortable with the PowerShell. Now all these